We'll start now. So, hi everyone. I welcome you all to this webinar on exploring emerging technologies, blockchain, IoT, and more with Abhishek Raj. Let me tell you a few things about Abhishek. Abhishek is a highly skilled data scientist with a degree in computer science from a prestigious Indian Institute of Technology. He has contributed to significantly so various industries and business with his proficiency in machine learning, statistical modeling, data science analysis, and visualization. Abhishek has worked with leading companies such as Samsung, Jaguar Land Rover, and is recognized speaker and thought a leader of data science community. He is a valuable asset for any team or organization seeking growth and is successful through data science. Now we'll let Abhishek take it from here.
Great, cool. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Monster, for having. Thank you, Zuno, for having me on this. And I'm glad that I was invited for this. And yeah, we can. Since Anne has already told my introduction, and yeah, I think, Anne, can we start directly with that? I would take that as a yes. Okay, cool, guys. So let me give you an idea about how we will go about in this session. So then we will take up your doubts in the meanwhile. And when the session is over, I'll take up the remaining doubt as well. If there is anything that is not relevant to the topic at this point, or I think that it will be covered in the further slides, I will not take that at that point, and we'll discuss that in the end of the session. Okay, so that would be the flow for this. Okay, cool then. Let me quickly share my screen and just give me a second. In order to make it full screen, I'll turn my video off, and yeah. Is it visible, guys? Can you access the chat as well? Let me know in the chat if you can access that, and my screen is visible as well. Yeah, great. Okay, cool, great. So yeah, let's directly start with in order to speak, you can write in the chat or you can raise your hand, and I'll unmute you once I think we can take up the doubts. Okay, so this is how we'll go about it, and cool. So let's get started. And, so I'll ask you the very first thing, like how many of you know about blockchain? What do you think a blockchain is? Any hints? Any small definition? Any kind of thing? Anything you in your wildest dream you can think of? Anything? What do you think? You can just simply answer Bitcoin. Anywhere you have experienced blockchain, you have used blockchain. Okay, single direction list. Okay, encrypted security. Okay, cool. Yeah, also you can mention your doubts in the Q&A part, and we'll take that in the end of the session if you're mentioning there. Okay, cool. Okay, wanna run? Cool, great. So as you can see, the definition on the screen as well. The blockchain could be a data structure. Okay, you can that could be growing list of information block. The knowledge blocks, area units coupled along, and such recent blocks cannot be removed or altered. And blockchain is a backbone technology of digital cryptocurrency Bitcoin. So basically, we want to understand like it's an uh, if I tell you in the layman terms, it's a distributed database of records of all transaction or maybe digital events. Okay, that have been executed and shared among participating parties. Now, participating parties by the term participating parties, we means that these participating parties or the people can be around the globe, right? They can be anywhere around the globe, right? So that's why it's now becoming way more popular than any other technology that we have right now. Okay, so in this session, how we will go about is first we'll start with introduction to blockchain. Then we'll discuss about the concept of, I have added one slide, how it works. Okay, then then we'll go about IoT, understanding of IoT, and then we'll go about the chat GPT part. Okay, so now each transaction, as you can I'm telling you that each transaction in the blockchain is verified by the majority of the participants of the system. Okay, it's not like the transaction that you are making is not uh, verified by anyone else, or there is always a controlling authority, okay, that verifies all the transactions. Okay, because like these things can be used for some other purposes, as you all know, right? It can be used for some other unfair means, right? So in order to control that, it is used and it is handled, it is verified by controlling authorities. Cool, guys? So this is what basically blockchain means. So you can consider it as a distributed database of records for all transactions, where you can do all these transactions and all. Okay, now it's someone mentioned that it's a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Okay, so there was a paper that published in 2008 on that, and you can Google that paper, and you will be glad to read that. Now let's understand how basically this technology works. Right now, one of the famous use of blockchain, as you all know, is Bitcoin. No Bitcoin. Guys, let me know how many of you live in Bangalore or have been to Bangalore anytime. Okay. Okay. So if you have come to this AECS layout that is in Brookfield, right? You have experience. You must have experienced. There is a person who takes the payment. There is a tea stall that takes a payment in Bitcoin. Anyone have experienced that? And that's the only thing that happens in India, and this is the only place that it happens in. And this was the first time it. So anyone experienced? Okay, great. Sunny has experienced that. Anyone else who has experienced this? Okay. No. Okay. Few of you have experienced that. Cool. No worries. So just to give an example for that, I took this. So Bitcoin is basically a cryptocurrency. Okay. And it is used to exchange digital assets online. Now, the most advantageous thing about this type of currency is that there is no controlling country, right? When there is a controlling country, it has set some rules, it has some you can say exchange prices and all those things. Now that creates a problem, you see, right? So there is no a particular currency that rules that. So now this has become this has given the people the advantage of changing changing world, and you can say they can you can transact in multiple countries, across countries, and yeah, across accounts. So yeah, so Bitcoin basically uses cryptographic proof instead of third party trust for two parties to execute transactions over the internet. Each transaction protects through digital signatures. Okay, you can read all this on your screen as well. And you can see in the diagram, I'll give you a minute to get into the diagram. Just give it a read to diagram. Take a minute. It's 5:12. So take a minute and read the diagram. Try to understand it on your own, and then we'll move further. Okay. So in the first diagram, you can see A sends money. A sends money to B, and through a block of transaction, you can see the block broadcast to each party. Okay, and then in the second diagram, the blocks or the party that communicates with the other block, that is approve the transaction. Okay, you can see there are black dots, and in the second transaction there are all green ticks. So you can imagine, or you can visualize that as a green tick that comes on the Paytm or after the payment. You can visualize it like that. So it means that the transaction has been approved from the verified software. Okay, once the transaction is approved, it is added to the blockchain. The transaction was made and it is added to the blockchain. You can see there are two blockchain. So this is basically a representation of on your screen that you can see B. It's a representation of Bitcoin. And now the money moves from from account of A to account of B. Okay, so this is how the transaction happens in Bitcoin. So how many just to get a idea, how many of you have invested in Bitcoin uh, uh, those days? Just to give an hint, I have not done that. So yeah, how many? You can write in the chat. So in order to answer yes or no, or you can just simply write Y or N throughout the session. Okay, some of you have done. Anyone doing profit in that area? Sorry guys, I am diverting from the topic, but yeah, it sometimes relaxes mind to do that. So yeah, anyone in profit right now? Let's try to make the session interactive. We'll complete by the end of the time. So yeah, we don't have to rush. On loss. Most of you are like most of us are in loss itself. Right. Okay, cool. No worries. Okay, cool, great. So yeah, this is how the blockchain uh, basically works. So there are two other terms that we need to understand before we move on to any further topic. That is first is distributed databases. Okay, and the other one will be the node network. Okay, so let's understand distributed databases. So look, there is no central server or system. Okay, which keeps the data of the blockchain. Okay, first we need to understand this. Like there is no central server or system which keeps the data. Okay, unlike the gold reserve that are stored in our banks, let's say for India, for UK, for US, any of the banks, they store the gold reserves, right? Instead, in like in exchange of the money that it releases, right? You know, I know you know all these things. Like a country can't just simply print, like it's in India, so we can't simply go on printing the rupee, right? We have to keep the equivalent gold reserves in our bank, right? Similarly, it goes with US, UK, and all the other countries as well. Okay, so yeah, so but in case of blockchain, there is no central server or system which keeps the data of the blockchain. Okay, now the data is distributed over millions of computers, okay, around the world, which are connected to the blockchain. Okay, like for example, your computer is connected, so your data will be on your computer and it will be connected to other blockchains, as we have seen in the previous case, right? Now, this system allows the notarization of the data as it is present on every node and it is publicly verifiable. Okay, so it gives you that scope of freedom, you can say, in other terms. It gives you that scope of freedom. Okay, it is not much centralized. It is decentralized or distributed system. Okay. Yeah, it is connected. Yes. Okay. So you can see on the diagram as well. One is the example of centralized system. Other one is the example of decentralized system. And there comes the example of distributed system. Cool. So yeah, let's move to the other topic, that is network of nodes. Now, network of nodes, as the name suggests, I think, and you can see on the diagram on your screen as well. Uh, a node is a computer connected to the blockchain network. Okay. Now you can consider your system as a node. Okay. And the node gets connected with blockchain using the client. Okay. The client helps. Now the client helps in validating and propagating transaction onto the blockchain. Okay. And when the computer connects to the blockchain, a copy of the blockchain data gets downloaded into the system, and the node comes in synchronous with the latest block of data on the blockchain. Right. The node connected to the blockchain, which helps in the execution of the transaction. Right. In return for that incentive is called miners. right? So someone was asking about miners. So yeah, this is where it comes into the picture. I know these terms these terms might sound complicating to some of you, right? You can interrogate or you can research about this more in detail. I'll provide you with the link and resources. Okay. And you can, oh, great. And you can do that uh, on your own as well. I'll provide you with the resources for that. Cool. And now let's get quickly started with IoT. I'll take all your doubts. If there are any doubts that I'm not taking right now, I'll take all your doubts by the end of the session. Okay, so don't worry about that. Also, I'll in the end of the session, I'll try to answer you on the personal basis as well. So yeah, don't worry about that. Okay, now, guys, what do you know about IoT? What do you think IoT is, except the definition that I have written on on the screen? Okay, yeah, it's a growing technology. Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll ask the organizers whether we'll get the recording. Whether we'll get the recording of the session or not. Okay, I'll ask the organizers for that. Okay, Aryan. Anyone else about IoT? People, guys. Yeah, Mohammed will discuss that as well. We'll discuss that. I'll tell you that. Let me give an introduction about these things, and we'll discuss how to get started, how to what all things you can work in these areas. Anyone else on IoT? Some crisp layman terms. Okay. Yeah. And any day-to-day use you have seen of IoT? Anywhere in the around you, you can now use, you can access anything. Robots. Yeah, correct. Anything else? Guys, have you used the clapping light? Like when you clap, the light will turn on. When you clap, again clap, the light will turn off. Anything like that you have used? These IoT device you have used. I have not used the lights as well. But yeah, I have seen that in some videos. Yeah. Okay, great. Siri, yeah, Siri, Alexa. Yeah, correct. Perfect. Cool. So IoT basically, for all those people who are new to this IoT, or for all the people who know IoT as well. So IoT is it's called Internet of Things. Okay, it refers to the interconnectedness of physical devices such as appliances and vehicles that are embedded with the software, sensors, and connectivity, which enable these objects to connect and exchange data. For example, let's take a case of the clapping. Okay. For example, there is some. Let me take a particular case of turning the light on using the clap. Okay. So in that case, what happens is uh, we transfer the data, the clap. We just clap in front of the let's say electric bulb, and it turns on, right? Or electric fan, and it turns on. So what basically happens is we transfer the sound energy. Our clap generates a sound energy, like I'm doing right now. So it generates a sound energy, and it get transferred to the device, the IoT device, let's say the light or the fan, right? And the fan basically gets that data. Okay, full form is Internet of Things. You can see on the first line. Okay, it's Internet of Things. So the lights, the internet device, the IoT device gets the data. Okay, that is in the form of sound data it gets, and it converts that into the electrical. Yeah, it converts them into the electrical part. Okay, so these devices are connected through various things. So the interface that connects all these things is called IoT. Now, IoT contains the software that connects these things. IoT also contains the hardware. Like there is a sensor that is installed. Sensors are nothing but the devices that, for in layman terms, you can understand they are devices which are responsible for such type of actions or such type of data collection and processing anything. Okay, these are the devices that are responsible for that. Cool. Okay, guys. So this was a small example of IoT device you must have seen. You can see, or you must have seen uh, near in your home or somewhere else, right? So basically, in layman terms or a one-liner definition, if I want to give for IoT, so it's basically a network of interconnected computing devices which are embedded in everyday objects, okay, enabling them to send and receive data. The data is what we send, the IoT devices send and receive, and that is something which keeps them working. Okay. Now, just to give you an example, over 9 billion things that are physical objects are currently connected to internet as of now. Okay. And in the near future, this number is expected to rise around 20 billion. Okay. And if we can connect somehow, if somehow we can connect these things to the devices that we use, the physical devices that we use on the daily basis, right? We can be like, you can see what wonders we can do. Yeah, wirelessly as well. Bluetooth connection is also comes under the IoT part. Okay, I have myself created a car that converts. That is a object detection bot. Is what I constructed myself. There is a camera module that we use that we have to use. Now, for IoT, we have to use certain objects. Like there is an object called Raspberry Pi. Okay, if someone wants, I can send them the link I have bought from the place where I have bought. So it's called Raspberry Pi. Okay, and what Raspberry Pi does is it's a small device. Okay, a very small size. You can consider it as a size of the only thing like this. It's a size of this, the 4 points that are written, it is that small. Okay, a very small device, but you can't imagine the power, the computing power, or the wonders this small device can do. Right? It is basically you can say it's basically a mini computer. Okay, but a computer contains a screen. It does not contain the screen, but it's a mini CPU. You can call. Yeah, it's a CPU, mini CPU. I bought it for it's a 4 GB RAM that I bought. So I have to insert some memory card as well. So yeah, but so you just connect the mouse, you just connect the screen to it. I connected my screen, I connected mouse, I connected my keyboard, and it was working like a CPU. So if you want to take your CPU from one, you are traveling, you want to take your CPU from one place to another place, you have the monitor, you have there. Okay, you know that you will get some screen over there, and you already have a handy keyboard, right? Folding keyboard or something. Then you must buy the Raspberry Pi, and it will store your data. You can work on that. Okay, there is a separate software, I think works. Okay, there is a separate software that works on there. But if you want to do anything, you can do on that system. You can buy it for different RAMs. You can do it. So all these, why the Raspberry Pi is used for the computing power. Okay, it increases the computing power. In IoT devices, we require computing power, and it increases that. It helps in that. Thick. Uh, it was not very thick. Okay, you can expect it. It was thick of 2 lines. 2 line thickness is what the device was having. Yeah, yeah. Anyone else use Raspberry Pi? Anyone? Okay. Some of you have used. Okay. Okay. VPN server. Cool. Great. So that was Raspberry Pi. Now, let's move on to, so this was the basic idea about IoT. Okay, so let's move on to the components that IoT devices, or that the devices that we use in IoT contains. Okay, so yeah, give it a read to the thing that is present on your screen. Okay, let me know how many terms you know out of that, if anyone have any idea on these terms. Some of you might have, since you have used Arduino, some of you have worked on these things. Yeah, some of you must be having the idea. So, okay, I'll take it one by one. So first is sensors or devices. Okay, so these devices basically connects with the external physical environment. Okay, they collect the data from the outside changes and store this information. Okay, now sensor senses the changes in the surrounding and notes down these changes. Okay, this property makes sensor extremely useful in IoT applications. Like there are many sensors at my home particularly. I have uh, uh, IR sensor, I have motion sensor, I have other sensors as well. It's been long. I have been working IoT now. Uh, I think I left that around few months back. I I moved to some other domain now. But when I was working IoT, I have to, when you are working in IoT, you have to deal on the daily basis with the sensors. So sensors is what you have to deal with every day, right? On whatever be the project you are working on, you have to do it. So I also installed in my home. I created a IoT device that is a robot. Okay, it detects whether when someone comes at our door, it detects whether the face is uh, is a regular visitor, like if there is a maid, right, that enters the home, right? So I install it on my gate, and when the sensor detects, there was an image recognition system that I put into that Raspberry Pi. So it basically detects whether the person is a regular visitor or someone that my family knows, right? If it is that, then it gives me a, it does not, it simply, he or she can simply ring the bell, and yeah. And if he's some, let's say some stranger, maybe a delivery boy or maybe someone else, like anyone outside the world, that is not known to my family or that is new to the system as well, right? So it gives a red alarm, kind of, that before opening the gate you have to be cautious, right? Because we have to be cautious more when the person is not uh, a regular visitor, right? For regular visitor, we generally opens the gate by, yeah, not motion sensor we use there. I particularly use the camera module. It's a small camera module that I used over there, and that camera module captures the images. And I also installed a small screen uh, uh, on the behind the door. When you try to open, you can simply see who is that, and the face is also visible on that. And on the screen, you can also see the name of the person. I have feeded some name. I have trained the model. I have feeded some names as per the visitor and as per the list that I know. Okay, I framed, I inserted, I put the label data inside that. And so yeah, that was a small IoT device that I made for my home. So yeah, you can try more and more things in IoT. It's just that you have to have that capital to build IoT devices. That's it. Because IoT devices sometimes they are a bit expensive. They are on the bit expensive side. So yeah. Okay, so this first thing was sensors and devices. The second thing is connectivity. Now, how to connect? Like how I connected my device, IoT device, to anything else, right? So the cloud servers process the data that's enter correct, but in order to do so, they require a platform. Okay, now connectivity is the connection among all IoT devices in any given IoT ecosystem, including sensors, routers, gateways, user applications, and platforms. Okay, connectivity allows you to take control over the entire IoT system. Hence, it is crucial to select the right kind of connectivity path. For example, a connectivity path like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or let's say cellular network, or 5G, LTE. Okay, yeah, exactly. All these offers connectivity to transmit large amounts of data. Now it's up to you I built a bot that works on the Bluetooth part. Okay, that was there is a Bluetooth module that you need to install on the device that you want to operate, you want to use using a Bluetooth. Okay, I can't see. I'll send you a PDF in the end of the session. Just remind me once if I forget. Like I have to send a PDF. I'll send a PDF of some devices, some IoT devices that I have used. Okay, it's a Bluetooth module, a small Bluetooth module that you need to install, that you need to put over your device so that you can operate it, you can connect to it using the Bluetooth. So it's very interesting field. Believe me, working in a software, okay, working on a software is a bit less interesting because you really can't see that, you really can't get in, you really can't feel those things, right? But in case of IoT, okay, you can feel those hardware, you can see those hardware working, really working or performing those operations that you want, right? So that is the best part of working in IoT. And that's what the part that excites me, because I being from a software background, I was working in IoT. I was working on the software part as well as I get the experience of the hardware part. So it increases my capability as an engineer, as well as it broadens my thinking, way of thinking to any particular problem. So it's not about IoT, it's not about blockchain, it's not about the for next topic would be Chat GPT, a very interesting one and very close to uh, me. So it's not about any particular topic or any particular technology. It's about the way it gives you to think on different problems, on different aspects of life. Okay, cool. So the third part, that is data processing. Now, since that we are receiving the data right from sensors, we are receiving the data from other sources, right? We need to process that data. Now, once the entire data transmit to the platform, the functions are performed on this data, okay, in order to process the data and send back necessary outputs, right? In other words, data analysis must take place. Now, this step is the most important step in IoT technologies, right? The analysis must happen at a quick rate to provide the better results. Now, the last part, that the last component, you can say the user interface. Now, now this is the last, really the last and the final stage of any IoT system. Okay. Now, this stage is in direct contact with the user, and it gives the output that users see on their screen. For example, data processing is intelligent. Again, it depends upon the data that you are getting, depends upon what the output you want from that data. So it depends upon these two things. So if you make the system intelligently, if you make the system to process in a particular way, yeah, it's a good way of processing the data. Now this stage is in a direct contact with the user and gives the output that user sees on their screen, right? As I mentioned. So for in my case, it was, you can already see it was on the a small screen that I bought, right? Now the output can be in the form of image. The output can be in the form of let's say text. Output can be digital or analog or any kind of output it can be, right? So the user interface is important so that we can get some output, we can see some output from the data we have got. Now every IoT device has different interface, as each device has different task or purpose to accomplish, right? So really they have the different interface to show. Some IoT devices like screens have a normal display where you can get the digital or analog output. Some screens, some devices like sensors have different user interface to interact with them. Okay, sometimes it in the form of light, sometimes it is in the form of buttons kind of thing. Okay, sometimes it in the form of touch as well. I've used touch screen devices as well with some of my in some of my projects. Okay, so that's how these things work. I'll send you a repository as well, where very starting 10 projects I have mentioned there, okay, of IoT, the devices that I've used, as well as the code of the program of the project, as well as the screenshots, the working and everything about those projects I have mentioned there in the repositories. So you can go to that as well. The first 10 projects of my IoT journey I have mentioned there, and you can uh, go for that. Now, working of IoT, I know we have already understood, and you must have got the idea about the working of the IoT devices and IoT system for that matter. But let's do it officially as well. So first we get the sensors. Now sensors can get the data, or sensors can really work on 3-4 areas like motion. They can detect motion, they can detect temperature, right? They can detect like lights, they can detect pressure. Okay, there are some sensors which detects the pressure as well, and they respond to that way. Pressure as in kind of not mental pressure. It's a kind of physical pressure that we can apply. Let's say for there are sensors which store the data when we pressurize them. Let's say walking, you must have seen there are some stairs which generates electricity when the people walk on it, right? There are roads which generates electricity from the speed breakers, right? So there are ideas which does that. So once the sensors have provided the, let's say, the information to it. Okay. Now these sensors are capable of sensing their surrounding. The devices store information in the form of some data, right? Now these devices include applications like mobile phones. Okay. It can be some coffee machines, microwaves, geysers, fire alarms, air conditioners, cars, anything, and so on and so forth, right? Now the sensors embedded in these devices constantly emit data about the surrounding and on the working information of these devices. Now IoT serves as a platform to dump all the data collected by these devices. Now IoT platform include cloud servers and large databases. I'm coming to the second part of gateway. Okay. Now the IoT platform acts on the data. Okay, it integrates and processes the information. Okay, further the platform analyzes the data thoroughly to gather important details. The platform then sends back instructions back to the data provided. Okay, finally, the data aggregation is shared with other devices. You can see on the mobile app part. Okay. Other devices for better performance in the future. It is also done for improved user experience. Okay. Now the future of IoT you see is quite bright and massive, right? According to a report that is generated by Business Insider, 24 billion IoT devices were installed in the year 2020. Now ITC predicts that IoT revenue will reach $300 billion in the coming year. Now this generates large amount of job opportunities in these technological industry and various other industries as well. Because IoT, you really see, it includes hardware, it includes software, it includes servers, cloud server, databases. It includes a lot of things, right? You sometimes require an app to be built. You sometimes require a software to be built, a website to be built for IoT, for like a user interface. You can use anything, really. You can use anything as a user interface. May it be a website, may it be an app, may it be any other user interface that you want to use, right? So all those things require someone to create, right? So it will definitely create uh, jobs in the future. Yes. Okay, cool guys. So with this, we are around the most interesting topic. Uh, I was the most curious about this topic for the session, and I was waiting for this topic to come on the session. So first question for me, like most of you must have used, but again, I'll ask this question because it's important. How many of you have used Chat GPT? Some people were ready with their answers. Why, or then. So how many of you have used Chat GPT? Really? If you have not used, I'm telling you, if you have not used, please use it. Use it for anything. Let's say you have someone special, right? Just type uh, poem for someone special, okay, and just send it to them, okay, and it will work, right? uh, don't see it to me like I have used for this. I have not used this, but yeah, I'm just telling you from my peers experience. You see, you can use that for anything, you can use that for coding purpose as well. I sometimes ask doubts from Chat GPT. Okay, you want to know the exact code. It's difficult in Google, right? It's difficult in Google to, like, you type a question, you will get links, right? You will not get answers. That's a problem we have with the search engines. But in Chat GPT, that's not the problem. Okay, so if in case you have not used Chat GPT anytime, then go and use ChatGPT. I'll send you the link in the chat. Okay, just let me know. Also, I'll tell you a secret about this presentation as well. Okay, now let's try to understand what ChatGPT basically is. First, if you know or if you don't know, let's try to understand ChatGPT detail in this time. Okay, so according to you, what is ChatGPT? What do you think is ChatGPT? What do you think is ChatGPT? A simple bot that answers your question. You can answer that as well. What do you think a ChatGPT is? A quick one. Okay, intelligent guide, advanced AI assistant for multiple processes. Cool. To any question? Okay. Cool. Okay, so I'll tell you what ChatGPT is as per my understanding and my research. Great. Powered by AI. Cool. Perfect. So ChatGPT is most advanced chatbot to date. Till date, it's the most advanced chatbot. There are some chatbots that you have seen, like let's say you visit HDFC website or any other, let's say government website or non-government website you visit, right? There is a small chat box that opens like that. This the webinar chat that is open, a chat box open like this. Okay. And in that chat box, there are a few set of questions that you can ask, right? Telegram bots, exactly. So Telegram bot is also a bit of advanced bot, but I'm talking about very basic bots like you see on most of the website, right? And these bots are very irritating, you see, because there are very limited questions that you can ask and there are very limited answers they can give. That's a problem with these bots. So really, in order to solve these problems, ChatGPT was introduced, and ChatGPT really it has changed the way chatbot works. It has changed how chatbots interacts with the human. Okay, how we interacts with the human, how it interacts with any question given to it, how it has taken the technology called natural language processing. Everyone talks about AI. In AI, there is a part that is called natural language processing, NLP in short. Okay, all these chatbot works on NLP, right? So I'll tell you in this session or in coming few slides, we'll discuss how chatbot really or chat GPT specifically, how these type of chatbots work really. Okay, now this revolutionary chatbot goes above and beyond what we may expect when it comes to generative AI. That is called generative AI. There is a new term, generative AI. Okay, now the mastermind behind ChatGPT is OpenAI. It's a company, right? It's an American artificial intelligence research company. Okay, even if you haven't heard of OpenAI, anyone heard of OpenAI except when I have spoken? Before that, anyone have really heard about OpenAI? Because you must have heard, because there were things going on with Google, Microsoft, all those things. So you must have heard somewhere in the news or somewhere. So in every other time I have seen nowadays, in every other time, in few months, there comes a technology that becomes so popular, like anything, right? And then suddenly it becomes a routine. Okay, it becomes a routine, or people forgets about these technologies, or people are really what you can say addictive to what we use daily on the daily basis, right? uh, till date, if anything you have to search, right? If anything you have to search, you will definitely search on Google, right? How many of you, I'll tell you I want an honest opinion and honest answer on this. How many of you really open Chat GPT when you want to search anything? The first thought in your mind comes is Chat GPT, and not Google or any other Internet Explorer or search engine. How many of you use Chat GPT as the first choice? Yes or no? Yes. If you are saying yes, like you directly open Chat GPT and you type the question in that. I'm not talking about like Yeah, right. Really, most of the people I think are not that much habitual. There are a couple of reasons, right? There are a couple of reasons that I think about. Yes. Yeah, it answers beautifully. I agreed on that. Yeah, partially means like it also, there is also a habit in me as well. Like I want answers not from a particular, I don't want a particular answer, right? I want multiple answers, and then I want to create my own answer. Okay, there are people like me who want to create their own answer, also who want to know the understanding of different people, different sites, different platforms, right? So there can be this one thing, that's why I don't prefer, or I there is an instinct inside me that I don't use chat gpt as my first choice of searching anything, right? Second thing, it can be the user interface. Do you believe that chat gpt has not that great user interface or user experience when compared with Google or any other search engine for that matter? Yes. Agreed. Right. So this, I think, is the second reason behind that, because it's a black, or it may be a white, depending upon the theme that you have selected. But uh, it's a kind of chat that you have to do, right? People are more into, you can say, images, more into links, more into fancy stuff, right? Rather than just writing a question and getting the solution. Right? It's not like that. Right? So that's the few reasons that I think are related. My first choice is always Google, then it's ChatGPT. But again, it should not be the case. Okay, I am telling it for me as well. It should not be the case that your first choice is any particular software. It should be the case like you should understand. Like if I want to search anything that has something to do with my content creation, right? I'll go with Google, because Google provides more opportunity for content creation than ChatGPT, right? I'll ask ChatGPT, let's say anything difference between torch and PyTorch, for example, very common difference between torch and PyTorch. If I have ChatGPT like that, okay, it simply gives me an answer like torch is this, PyTorch is this. But you really see, like I don't want a real quick answer. What I wanted was a approach, a thinking. Right? Rather than answer, I literally want the answer. It's not, I'm not saying like I don't want the answer. I wanted the answer, but not direct one. I want two, three answers, right? So that I can make my own answer, right? So, but let's say I'm stuck in, let's say, how to install a particular software. Let's say how to install Matplotlib, okay, in Python. So you can simply type this question and you will get a exact one line of code on ChatGPT, and very precise, very accurate, and very correct, right? So that's the biggest advantage of ChatGPT. Like you will get very precise answer. Otherwise, on Google, you have to search, open two, three links, or you will get a solution like that. Okay. And ChatGPT is very precise. It does not complicate things, but Google sometimes complicates things, because you see, Google connects things, right? ChatGPT does not connect things. It prepares the answer from that links, right? I'll tell you how. We'll see how ChatGPT works, and you will get better understanding on this. So now, before okay, now you can see there are two things here. On the right hand side is working of ChatGPT. On the left hand side, you can see real life applications of ChatGPT. We'll discuss about applications first. First, let's try to move to the working part of ChatGPT really. Okay. So what do you think? What's the technology behind ChatGPT? What are your opinions? What do you think? You can type anything. Like, what do you think? Is it it's what it matters. So basically, ChatGPT is a generative pre-trained transformer. Okay. It's a generative language model that is based on the transformer architecture. You can say it like that. And these models are capable of processing large amount of text and learning to perform natural language processing tasks very efficiently. So it's all about natural language processing. Okay. Now the GPT-3 model, okay, in particular, is 175 billion parameters in size, okay, making it the largest language model ever trained. Okay, so basically you take the data, you train your model on the data, okay, you train your model on the data, and the output, if anyone is asking you any question, just pick up the uh, output from it and just give it to the person. That's it. That's as simple as that. Right. I'll give you an article on why ChatGPT is special, and why no one like, you can say like, Abhishek, how if this is how it works, it would have been created way before, because we have more advanced machine, more advanced technology right now than a simple chat bot, right? So I'll tell you why ChatGPT is special. Okay, what is the difference between ChatGPT and other chatbots? There are still chatbots, very good chatbots that are present, but ChatGPT is special one. I'll tell you that. I'll send you an article on that. You can give it a read if you are interested to do so. Okay, so now to work the GPT. Okay, to work the GPT needs to be trained on large amount of text. For example, GPT model was trained on a text set that includes over 8 million documents and over 10 billion words. You can imagine the size of it. 8 million documents and over 10 billion words. From this text, the model learns to perform natural language processing tasks and generate coherent, well-written text. Okay, once the model is well trained, the GPT can be used to perform a wide range of tasks, as we have seen in like throughout in the last slide, and we'll be seeing in the real life application part as well. Now, reinforcement learning, that is based on human feedback, was used for training purpose. Okay, ultimately by supervised fine tuning, the human AI trainers provided conversations in which they represented both the user and the AI assistant. In addition, the caches were provided with written suggestions to help them write their proposals. So they mixed with the new dataset with the instruct GPT dataset that was transformed into a dialogue format. Okay, so it was not easy. Like Chat GPT can be just give it a data, train the model, and it would be done. There are you see difficult and different approaches that has been used and very accurately and very precisely used at particular things. Right now, you can go about these 3 steps. First step is collect the demonstration data and train a supervised policy. Okay, you can give it a read to the steps. Like, guys, you have 1 minute. Give it a read to the steps once. Okay, cool. So these were the 3 steps that we do: collect data, collect comparison data, and train a reward model. Then optimize the policy against the reward model using the PPO reinforcement learning algorithms. Okay, I'll send you a detailed document if you want. I'll send you. There are links in the end as well. I'll send you the presentation. Okay, and yeah, you can go through those things. Cool. Let's move on to real life applications. Okay. Now, the customer service, the first part in terms of real life, ChatGPT can be used as a chatbot to provide customer support services. For instance, a company may use ChatGPT to answer frequently asked questions. Sorry. Okay. For instance, a company may use ChatGPT to answer frequently answered questions, right? Help customers navigate their website, provide, let's say, the personalized product, okay, recommendations, right? So all those things a chat gpt can do. So that was related to customer service that a chat gpt bot like chat gpt can provide. Now, personal assistance, chat gpt can be used as a personal assistant to schedule appointments, make reservation, remind users of important events. For example, let's say the AI assistant system, okay, uh, can help users to schedule their calendars, reminders. You can try that with any of the AI assistant system that you have at your home, Alexa, Siri, anyone. Okay, and they can also navigate to your daily schedule as well if you have connected Google calendars or stuff like that to it. Okay, now talking about mental health counseling. Right now, these devices can, or ChatGPT in particular, can be used as a virtual therapist to provide mental health consulting services. The AI can be programmed to recognize certain keywords or phrases, okay, and respond it in a way that is supportive and empathic. Okay, Now, for instance, there is a chat bot, okay, with the name WooBot, WOEBOT. Okay, it's a chatbot that uses cognitive behavioral therapy techniques, okay, to help people manage their mental health. You can be very. I was very surprised when I read about this article on View Chat. So yeah, you can give it a read to it as well. Now, education, you most of us as can see around our life, people are using it for education, right? So in educational settings to provide personalized learning experiences, right? Just like we do it for View, WOE. It's I'll tell you the correct spelling. It's WOEBOT. It's ViewBot or whatever it is pronounced. I don't know. Okay, so to provide personalized learning experiences, for instance, AI tutor, okay, can interact with students, answer questions, provide feedback on their progress, and all those things, right? Now, creative writing, it also used for generate creative writing such as poetry. I told you that, or short stories, or there is an AI dungeon. Okay, it's a text-based adventure game. Okay, that uses ChatGPT to generate games narrative. Okay, so it's very interesting to see how ChatGPT has taken over in all those areas, which we have never. Personally, I have never thought about that in these areas or these applications. These can be the applications of ChatGPT. Okay, cool guys. So these were the references that I referred. These were the few links that I referred for working on it. A really interesting fact about chat about this presentation is that it was created by ChatGPT. Can you believe that, guys? Can ChatGPT does that? Can ChatGPT do that? Yes. Okay. Yes or no? Okay. I can't counter. I can't fight with ChatGPT. But honestly speaking, this was generated by me itself, Abhishek. It was not generated by any of the chatbots or any of the AI devices. Yeah, I'll share this PPT. Okay, and really, this was not generated by any chatbot for that matter. Yeah, and it was me, the creator of this PPT, that generated this PPT. So yeah, so it was not ChatGPT who. I have taken some help of ChatGPT, but not really, not much, not at least not in generating the complete presentation. uh, I don't know. I'll try to explore this area as well now. Now I think about it, so I'll try to explore this area as well. So okay, maybe Srinivasa, it can be done. Yeah, I'll share the presentation. I'll share the documents. I remember the documents that I want to share. I'll share that one by one. Uh, cool guys. I That was all for the session that we have, and now I'll be taking your doubts. Okay, and you can mention those things. Ayan, anything you would like to add on this?
No, that's where all good. Now student can ask the questions here.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, ChatGPT wouldn't. I don't know whether ChatGPT will give some reference to that, like I have given or not. So I'm not sure of that. Sorry. That's why it shows that I have prepared the presentation, right? It shows that. Okay. It doesn't prepare. Yeah, it can write the content. Exactly. It can write the content for, yeah. Someday will come that it will generate the presentation. It might generate the presentation as well. Okay. How to get started with IoT? That was the first thing I can see on uh, on my screen. Okay. David, I'm not sure of that, whether they will take over the world, because ultimately at the end of the day, humans are required for some tasks at least. Okay, for at least some tasks, they require human. If they can control human, yeah, I don't know. I won't comment on that. But yeah, who knows? Let's see. You are here, I'm here as well. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Currently, we are controlling them. So yeah, I don't know about the future. Yeah, currently we are controlling them. That's it. We are making full use of them. So yeah, that's the thing. Okay, I'll share one of the repositories of IoT. Yeah, you can refer to this, and this is the uh, a good GitHub repo. Okay. Whether a labeler is a person. Labeler as in the person who labels the data, right? So sometimes it depends upon the type of the data you are taking into account. If it's a form of image, sometimes the AI algorithm can generate a labeled data. Sometimes it's human that have to cross-check the labeled data. So again, it depends upon the data completely, and it depends upon the data pipeline that you have set up for for any particular system. Really. Okay. Okay, great, Ashwini. Thank you for passing on that information. Really, I'll read and I'll definitely go to read more on it. So, in order to get started with IoT, you can start with the first project that is mentioned there, and learn about the basics of electronics, wires, switches, uh, current, uh, earthing, all those basic concepts about electronics. Go learn about them, get your basics right first, and then jump into or get into some basic projects. Search for basic projects. I have mentioned few basic projects on the repo link that I provided. So go order few things, experiment with those things. Ultimately, the bulb will glow. Just remember one thing: in IoT, I have always been of that mindset that the bulb will glow definitely, whether not today, not tomorrow, not maybe not this month, but there has been projects like I have failed continuously for 10 to 15 times at least. Okay, and I was not able to sleep for nights as well because I was working so hard on these projects, but at the end of the day, they were not working. So yeah, there would be times, but just you need to remember that it's not luck that will make the project work. It's about all about wire and devices that will make the project work. Okay, so just believe on yourself, believe on the circuit, believe on the engineering behind it, and just go for it. That's it. Okay, cool. Uh, how safe is IoT during recession? Okay. The devices are getting more and more costly. Hardware have their issues. Hardware have their own issues. But IoT seems, for me, IoT, there seems no stopping for any of the technologies because of recession or because of anything. Right? There seems to be no stopping. And if any of these technologies stop, most of the technologies will also stop. So I think it's always safe if you are on a good side, or if you are good at any particular skill, it's always safe, whether it's been a recession or maybe change in technology or any of the AI come. It hardly matters in most of the cases. Okay, I have changed my domain. So I keep switching my domains. I keep switching my personal domains of working on weekends or working on some extra times. Uh, the reason for that is you can say the amount of time that I invest, I want the output from it. First thing. The second thing that I want is enjoyment. Okay. Once I'm done with the enjoyment, once I've explored the areas in that field, okay, and I think that there can be more output out of that, or it is more than what I expected from that particular field. I simply switch the field. I simply leave the projects that they were. So yeah, that's the main thing. Currently, I'm into data science more in my part time as well. Okay, Yeah, it's more advanced on the parameter side. It's more advanced on the data side. It's more advanced on the parameters that we have used, the things that they have like get into more things, right? So yeah, the NLP in ChatGPT uses a kind of bit more advanced, you can say, Rana. I'm answering the questions and presenting question and answer, and I'm looking into the question on the webinar chat as well simultaneously. So if you have any questions, guys, please go for it. Okay. Recommendation systems. Okay. Really, ChatGPT can recommend you few movies. Just type ChatGPT. Okay, let's try it right now as well. Yeah, let's go for it. Let me check whether sometimes the server gets down. In ChatGPT. Okay. Let's see. Just give me a second. Need to log in actually. Okay, I'll share my screen. Let me know if that is visible to you. Guys, is my screen visible? Guys, is my screen visible? Yes. Yeah, great. Cool. So I'll ask when some movie, recommend me some movie on let's say recommend some, let's say some romantic movie. Look, that's how the recommendation system in ChatGPT works. Look how fantastic it is. Cool. So this is how the ChatGPT works, and as a recommendation system, really cool. Okay. What are the security concerns? Rana, I hope your doubt is clear now. So it can work as a good recommendation system. Security concerns are obviously there. There are security concerns. Can anybody mention security concerns in IoT? Gateways, yeah, exactly. If the assume that the data is going from one place to another, right? It is going from, for example, it is going from let's say one device to another device, right? Uh, there is so much gap in between, right? There is so much gap in between. So when there is a gap in between, anyone can interfere between that, and your data can be leaked, right? So these are the security concerns. I think that IoT, most of the IoT devices has. Okay, so yeah, and also the thing that they use for the connection between